Yeah, Chinatown probably had something going on. Actually, Ikebukuro, where I live, about a year ago, a bunch of the shop owners tried to suggest that Ikebukuro be renamed Chinatown Tokyo. And of course, the Japanese business owners in the area fucking freaked out and were like, no, no, we will not be calling Ikebukuro Chinatown Tokyo. So that plan got nixed. But I'm guessing in like 10 years, the population of Chinese people in Ikebukuro will be big enough that they can do it. But there's a lot of Chinese people in Ikebukuro, especially the northwest side where I live. I'm working today. I've been working from home in the morning, and I'm gonna go out. I have to go out in a few hours, go to the office. Yes, live from Casa de Kevin. The place is a fucking mess. It's horrible. There's like coffee cups and like I gotta be careful how much I pan the camera around, what you might accidentally see. That's true. I actually have tried doing artwork out of empty beer cans. I tried to make a coffee table out of empty beer bottles one time. This is when I lived out in LA. Like what I want to do is like empty all the beer bottles and then glue them together so they're like a big square, and then using 40s make legs for it, and then put Christmas lights inside it so I'd have a glowing beer bottle uh, like coffee table. That was a really good idea in theory, but it turned out really shitty. Really, really shitty. So I just had all these fucking glued together, broken beer bottles in my living room for a while. Yeah, no, there's totally an idea that I came up with while I was drunk. I'm just trying to look at, see if I can find the link to one of the apartments I was looking at. Okay, there you go. So, this is like one place I looked at, but I'm not going to be living here. So, that's an example of one of the places I've been looking at, but it's I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to take this one. I don't think. Be nice, people. Be nice. There's no reason to get all uppity. It's way too early in the morning for me to be that agitated. What do you guys like? What type of coffee do you drink that gets you that agitated so early? Oh, yes, it's not morning for you guys, is it? Hello, Miss Blue Eyes. But anyway, that link is to a apartment I was thinking about moving into, but I'm probably not gonna. Let's get an idea of what I'm looking for. 12:40 p.m. is actually morning for me. I've been working a lot recently, so I haven't had the luxury to wake up this time, but I used to wake up at noon pretty much every day. Young Machete, you're getting irritating. That's true, I haven't put up a video in 2 weeks. I'm actually going away to Nagano this weekend to do a comedy show, and I'm gonna record that, and that will be up hopefully Monday or Tuesday. So that's the hope, that I'll have a new video up for Monday, or at Tuesday at the latest. But this week I've had way too much going on. And the website I'm managing for NHK is going to go live on February 2nd, so that's less than a week away. So it's like a lot of last minute, yeah, actually less than a week now. So there's a lot of last minute things to take care of in terms of like fixing the website, which is actually what I was doing this morning before I logged on, and what I have to do after this. Is Nagano fun? Definitely not as fun as Kuchan, that's for sure. The only thing to do in Nagano I'm aware of is eat soba noodles, and I've already done that in a recent video, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do to fill up the time. But it's cool. It's like it's a free trip, so that's nice. The hotel that I'm performing at pays for the train and the hotel room and everything, so it's a nice free chance to get somewhere else in the country and see something. But I think I'm only going to be there like 8 hours. Like, I have to go up there, do the show, I'm going to stay overnight, and then I'm supposed to go apartment hunting on Sunday. So I'm going to come back pretty early Sunday morning to look at more apartments. More time in life. Best city in Japan? That's hard to say. I would say Tokyo, but that's because my lifestyle is very, very much like a Tokyo lifestyle. I like the different cultural activities, different people from different countries, all assembled here in Tokyo. If you go out to Inaka, meaning the countryside, there's really nothing. I mean, sometimes you'll find some Filipinos in like some rural places, but essentially any type of like international lifestyle, Tokyo is pretty much the only place. For example, like import shops that sell foods and stuff like you might like, or foreign food. I mean, you only find that stuff in Tokyo. Oh, Kenji, man. Not unless I was to carry the enormous fish tank over. He's in the next room. Sorry. Really, I'm looking just in the Ikebukuro area. I want to stay in this neighborhood for my apartment, so I'm probably gonna stay around here somewhere. I don't have wireless in my apartment at the moment. Although I have decided I'm just gonna buy like this thing to plug into my laptop that gives you wireless anywhere. It's like 4,000 or 5,000 yen a month, but I just decided fuck it. I'm getting tired of going to coffee shops trying to find Wi-Fi, and with my with the job I've been doing working on the website, I need to be more internet accessible. And I keep ending up going to fucking coffee shops, buying a coffee just so I can use their Wi-Fi, which like at 340 yen a pop starts to build up over time anyway. So I'm spending like probably 5,000 yen a month anyway on coffee, just because I have to keep trying to find a coffee shop that has Wi-Fi. That's funny as hell, you man. Well, yeah, the new place is going to be a bit more expensive, but it's also going to be like a proper office, which means I can write off the rent on tax, like for taxes. There's a lot of things I can do. Alas, Muttley, I have to admit I have no guest today. I have no guest. Emily was such an epic guest last week that I couldn't find one today. Maybe you can just I'll get Kenji. I'll try and bring Kenji in the room. We'll see if he can be the guest today. This is gonna piss him off. He's gonna be seriously pissed off if I do this. Hold on a second. Yeah, he doesn't seem to want to move. He's also eating breakfast still, so I don't want to fuck with him too much. But I'll see. I'll see if I'll try again later. That's true. There's no way I'm moving that fish tank because that thing's epically huge. Actually, hold on a second. Let me give it a try. There he is. He is getting fucking huge, by the way. But, yeah, that's Kenji. So anyway, that's the fish. Uh, it is pretty bizarre that I'm broadcasting a fish on the internet. Uh, well, actually, Kenji is on top of the kotatsu, and I'm sitting at a small desk on top of my beanbag chair. That is bizarre. So, but yeah, so just to sum up, there's no guest today other than Kenji. And, more detail, sorry. This is, I think it's fucking heavy. I don't really feel like moving it anymore. That makes sense. That would be a great, like, a great, like, you know, webcam kind of thing, a fish tank for people who don't have their own fish. That's awesome. Like, will a cat attack on a fish? It's hard to say. I don't know. Like, would a cat attack a fish on the screen? I mean, I feel that cats are stupid. I've never had a cat, nor do I ever want to have a cat. But cats seem to me to be pretty stupid. Dogs, I mean, dogs are stupid, but they're stupid in a fun way. It's kind of like, I don't know, if you have a girlfriend who's just really stupid and it's irritating, or if you have a girlfriend who's like stupid in a kind of funny way. I think that's the difference between a cat or dog in terms of intelligence. But unfortunately, the reality is most often girlfriends are conniving and very, very smart, the way cats often are. That's the reality of it, though. Cats are good for company if they like you. If they don't like you, then cats are about the shittiest thing in the world for company. Like, I remember one time I had to babysit Kaina's cat. I forget what it was. It was like her apartment was being checked by the landlord or something, and she wasn't allowed to have pets, so they dropped off the cat here. And that cat fucking hated me. Oh my god. Like, it was just in the corner like this, like with its claws out ready to pounce. It was pissed at me. Man, that cat hated me. So I don't know if it's great for company. I'm figuring after a couple days, at some point it would have had to, you know, be a bit more friendly. But yeah, it was really pissed off. But then again, I think, you know, anybody would be if they were dropped off some random person's house and said, hey, here you go. Stay with Uncle Kevin for the night. Ziltron. Yeah, I'm sure there is a school that teaches Italian, but the problem with that is just the numbers. Like, the number of people studying Italian is not that big compared to English. I think Berlitz probably has an Italian program. And also, like, the people who teach French, Italian, Spanish generally tend to have better resumes than the people who teach English. Because there's just such a demand for English teachers that pretty much anybody can. But, like, French, Italian, Spanish teachers, they often have, like, teaching English as a second language certificates or something like that. So, there's a bit more competition for those jobs. But yeah, I know people have done it. Yeah, there's not a huge demand for those jobs. And with the economy, I don't know, it's weird. With the recession, that could hurt, most likely, but it could also help the education industry, the education sector, because of course people don't have a lot of extra money sitting around to do stuff with, but at the same time, people are trying to retrain or get new skills so that they can get a better job. So a lot of times when recessions hit, English schools can actually do better because people are trying to retrain so they can get more skills for a job or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know how it's going to turn out for that whole sector here in Japan. Yeah, it's like alcohol, pachinko parlors generally do better in recession times. In Japan, that's true, at least. That's true. Jet doesn't allow you to choose where you go, um, which means you will end up in the countryside. You absolutely will end up in the countryside, or maybe if you're lucky, Chiba, Saitama, a place near Tokyo. But if you're in Jet, you're not going to be in Tokyo, almost definitely. So, if you go to a company, a private company, like I don't even know what companies there are anymore, ECC, Aeon, Berlitz, GABA, they are private companies, so you can request where you want to be. But JET is a government-run program, so it's completely different in that way. One, you're working for a private company. The other one, you're working for a government agency. Brew popcornage about the alcohol thing. But the prizes, you can. Who just asked that question? Akitan, yeah, the pachinko prizes, though, you immediately return for money. So pachinko is done for money, not for prizes, really. That whole thing is just a way to get around the laws that say you can't gamble. Yeah. I mean, but being out in the middle of nowhere is not such a bad idea, actually. A lot of people I know started off in the middle of nowhere. Like people who've been on this, as guests on this show, even. Um, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, your Japanese will get better really, really fast. Really fast. They are constantly in a situation where they need to use the language. Where in Tokyo, you can get by without speaking Japanese for your entire life, you know. Like, I know guys that lived in country, like, over a decade, and their Japanese still sucks. Like, they can barely order in a restaurant. Because Tokyo is filled with restaurants where the staff speak English and, you know, Burger King and shit like that. But if you're in Bumblefuck, or East Jesus, or someplace like that, like, you're not going to be able to, like, walk into a Burger King and order in English, you know. So, yeah, if you're thinking about learning the language, starting off the countryside could be a good option. The only thing is, though, like, you're not gonna have a lot of foreign friends or anything like that. You'll be really in the community, and a lot of people prefer that. A lot of people enjoy that. So it's just up to you. For me, for job opportunities, I mean, I'd have to live in Tokyo. There's nothing I could do that would really be entertaining to me, living in, like, somewhere out in the boonies. In Whoop Whoop. I mean, actually, when I first came over, I came over with a private English school. It was about 8 years ago now. And I told the recruiter, I wanted to live in Nagoya. Because I looked at the map and I thought, oh, Nagoya is between Tokyo and Osaka. It's centrally located, kind of a big city, but not too big. And the guy at the interview is like, no, you do not want to live in Nagoya, trust me. And I can look back on that and say he was right. Nagoya is like the Japanese word for Detroit. Exactly, yeah. And yeah, the Temple University Japan campus. Actually, there's actually a lot of YouTube bloggers now blogging specifically about the Temple University Japan process and things like that. So I would check out Atomic Boy X, My Argonauts. No, not My Argonauts. He does Jet. Sorry. There's a lot of people. If you search on YouTube, Temple University Japan, you'll find a lot of resources. Nagoya is kind of a shithole. Sorry about your wife, Mick, but a lot of Japanese people feel that way. Sorry, Atomic Boy X, I was talking about you. Now, people ask me about like temple or things like that. I have no freaking clue. This is why you exist, Atomic Boy X, to answer those questions. I can answer questions about odd flavored ice creams. You can answer questions about studying abroad. We each have our purpose. What pills are in the bottle? Huh? Yeah, Japan likes American singers. Most popular singers can do well here, but it's funny, the only singer that's really done well over here, and that's really broken through, is Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne has done really well, but, and actually there's been I've been to a lot of seminars and networking meetings and stuff like where people talk about that, like why does she break over? But they figure the reason is she does a lot of like on the ground like stuff for the Japanese audience. Like she goes out of her way to, when she visits, like go shopping here, buy Japanese clothes, do interviews with local things that, you know, a lot of the other stars don't. There's kind of a tradition of stars in the West just stopping over like for a couple quick interviews, saying, okay, buy my album, bye. But Avril apparently has really gotten, like, she's gotten people here to think that she cares about Japan. Whether or not she really does or not, I don't know. But that's the image she has fostered. So they kind of look at her as like, you know, a star that actually is interested in their country. And that goes a long way for the audience here. Because, I mean, Japanese people know, like, if a star is just like, oh yeah, Japan, okay, here's my new album, alright, bye. Or if they're really interested in this country. Like Gwen Stefani as well with her Harajuku girls and stuff like that. Capsule Inn. Do you mean specifically that chain, that place, Richard, or capsule hotels in general? Yeah, I know, Loose Fit. What the hell is that, huh? What the hell is that? It depends on the country you're from if you need a visa to visit Japan. But for the majority of countries that are probably have access to this internet, I mean, I'm saying like not North Korea, for example, you can just get on the plane and show up, and then at the immigration checkpoint in the airport, you're actually given a visa. It is technically a visa. It's a tourist visa for 3 months. So you don't have to get a visa beforehand, but you do actually have to have a visa of some kind while you're here. So that's a very small note. A lot of people consider the tourist visa not really a visa, but it is technically a visa. So anyway, you get that at the airport, and for most countries, for most people, there's no reason why they don't give it immediately. However, like for example, and this goes back to musicians, Ike Turner, for example, was coming over to play a blues festival here in Japan, and was turned away at the immigration checkpoint because of his criminal record. So depending on your criminal record, the country can refuse to give you entry into the country, as they did Ike Turner. So Ike Turner was actually booted. Ariko, that's a good question. There's this one video I keep trying to make. I just never get around to doing it because it would take too much energy. But I want to like record everything I eat in 1 week and total up how much that costs. But the thing about me, especially recently, I used to cook almost every day, at least one meal. But like in the last couple months, I've eaten out every single meal. Like 3 meals a day, 4 meals a day, I've eaten out for the last couple months. So, yeah, that can get expensive. So probably I spend about maybe $20-$30 a day on food. Think $20-$30 a day on food, and that's just like the most basic. I mean, I went out for Korean last night, and I spent like, it was 2 of us, but it was 2,600 yen just for dinner. So, you know, if you eat out a lot, like which I do, it can get expensive. But then again, like, I could eat like soba in the train station, and that's like $2. So it depends on what you eat. But I like having a nice dinner, so I tend to go to like a restaurant for dinner. It's such a fucking waste of money, though. I really gotta stop doing that. Dreamy, that's not the that's not what I'm worried about in the blood test. Trust me. No, I'm not Japanese in any way, shape, or form. Nor do I wish to be. That's true. I mean, like I try to like eat like a normal like sit down dinner every night, and even though it's a little bit expensive doing that, it keeps me sane. And I try as often as possible to have someone to go out to dinner with. So I'll go out to dinner with somebody at least 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Sometimes it's business, sometimes it's just personal. And I eat a lot of fucking meals at my computer too. Like I'll go to the convenience store and get a microwavable bowl of noodles, sit in front of my computer eating that. And that's like, $3 maybe. $3 for a microwavable thing of spaghetti. Light beer. Yeah, no, recently they have. There's a lot more low calorie, like, beers in Japan. But you're right, they didn't used to have those. Oh, yeah, the Karage 7-Eleven. This morning's breakfast was I ate at home, technically. Apple pie. That was delicious. And a cafe au lait in a bottle. That's about 400 yen, 500 yen. Zeltron. The thing about, I mean, I don't know. Well, I can check real quickly. Maybe. I don't know why I'm checking this for you, though. If Italy has a working holiday agreement with Japan, then you can come over and do anything you want for a year, basically. Anything you can get money for. I know Poland does, and the UK, and Germany, but I'm not sure about Italy. Okay. So if you're from the country... Ah, yes. Possibly. Ho 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 ho. Japan allows people from Australia, Canada, France, Germany, Korea, New Zealand, United Kingdom, Ireland. Sorry, no Italy. So it depends. Yeah, no Italy on the working holiday visa, it seems. But then you could just come over for a year and do anything you want. Otherwise, you can come over for like a tourist visa and renew that, but you really can't work on the tourist visa. But I mean, you could go at least 6 months to maybe 9 months on a tourist visa before anyone would bother you about it. But the problem is, like, with the getting a working visa for an English school, you have to prove that you even if your English is really good, like I knew a German guy whose English was awesome. He was raised mostly in the U.S., but his passport says that he's German, so the government would not allow him to teach English because, paperwork-wise, on paper, he's not a native speaker of English. So, article. I've not actually been to a whole lot of countries, but most of my traveling when I was younger was done in the U.S. I've been to every state in the U.S. and every province of Canada except for Hawaii. And I lived in London for a while, and I visited Ireland like 3 times. Went to France, and then I came to Japan. I haven't gone anywhere in Asia yet. Later, Atomic Boy X. Again, anyone looking for information on Temple University, Japan, check out his YouTube videos. Atomic Boy X has a lot of great information on that process. Actually, I feel totally opposite. I feel like I haven't done any traveling. I've been in Japan for like 8 years, and I still haven't been anywhere else in Asia. So I'm kind of disappointed in the amount I've gotten around. I totally want to get to more places. What happened with coffee? Did I miss? You can get every other flavor. Never been over to China, Korea. I've always been working, and whenever I have money and time, I tend to go home. Like, I try to go home at least once a year for a while. Nova Scotia, nice. I've been there. I've even been to Newfoundland. Now, that's a place you don't want to go. Yeah, I've been to. I left that off the list. I forgot that's actually a separate country. I've been to Scotland as well. Been to Glasgow, Edinburgh, Lochmaben. In fact, just looking at some of my old my photos, I brought a bunch of photos when I came to Japan of my life up until that point, and I've got this is me at Hadrian's Wall. It's a long time ago. I look so fucking young in these photos. It's scary. Scotland was awesome though. I had a friend who was from Lockerbie, from Lochmaben, actually, and so I went and stayed with him for a while. Glasgow. Yeah, I think I'm gonna shave the beard later this afternoon. Oh, Kenji is my fish over here. Yeah, the tank is pretty wretchedly dirty right now. I apologize, Kenji. Sorry about that, bro. Any Scottish friends in Japan? Hmm. Not really. No. I mean, actually, this guy Dave I went to university with. Um, the TWA flight that was bombed by the Libyans crashed in Lockerbie, Scotland. There was like 40 students from my university on that plane. They were all coming home from study abroad. So, like, they set up a scholarship from my university, Syracuse, so that one guy and one girl from that town every year would come over for a free year of school as like friendship program thing. And this guy Dave came over the year I was there, and we became really good friends. We lived in the same dorm the first year. Uh oh. Hi, Mishrish. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, this is Ken, this is the welcome page thing. The 200 letters? Mm-hmm. Under 200. Okay. Okay, I'll do that right now. Yeah. I just working on some other stuff. No, no. If you need it right now, I understand. But okay, okay, okay. All right, later. All right. That is my new job harassing me. I told them I'd like send them the stuff later in the day, but apparently I have to do it right now. So, sorry. Hold on a second. Yeah, I don't think he could figure out how to find his way onto the internet. Hold on a second. But the one thing is, if he's going to give me this amount of time to do it, I don't feel bad about doing it badly. Fuck my job. I don't need that. I'll pay my rent with good intentions. Ah! Sorry, I'm going to be spaced out for a bit now. I have to send something real quick. Count 294. All right, almost done. Ah, 6 more. Fuck. Oh, 1 more. Done. Okay, done. Yay. So this is the proofread. Yeah, that's a good point. I gotta go check and see what the hell I just said. I hate proofreading. Actually. How about I'll have you guys proofread it. That seems easiest. How does that look? Yeah, look on Japan. 24-hour streaming video. Look at Japan. Oh, that sentence is a little bit weird. 24 hours hyphenated. Is it? Stream. Stream. 24-hour stream. Actually, I'm gonna resend this. Fuck it. Hour streaming video. About how's this? Video stream works better. Hey, dude, I just sent it over. I'm just gonna send over a newer one with just a couple more changes. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I just sent it to your brain. No, no, your account, the Jib account. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. 194 with no space. I gave you two. One that's under 109, under 200 with no spaces, and one that's under 100 with spaces. Yeah. 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 Yep. Okay. Later. All right. Anyway, that should be good now. Done. I think that would be nice, and feel 22. That would be very nice. Welcome to Japan TV. Stay black. This is my heater remote control, by the way. If you ever see me doing something like that, I'm not steering a boat. Too lazy to get out of my beanbag chair and actually hit the off button. Emui, I know how you feel. Oh yeah, so that website, it's not visible yet, but it's going to be called um, jibtv.com. It goes live February 2nd, and it will be a 24-hour streaming video, mostly of NHK English language programming. Shows about Japan, basically. Japanese culture, travel. One show that I appear on. Actually, I think my videos on YouTube are more interesting than the show on this thing, but they pay me, unlike the YouTube videos. But it's a 24-hour English language broadcast. So I get like $5-10 a month from YouTube at the moment. So they don't pay me nothing, but again, that's not really the point of doing it. Japanese bathhouse. Yes, I've been to those many times. HK. Oh yes, the website will be completely, totally, absolutely free. And in the beginning, it's just going to be streaming, but we're looking at trying to make it video on demand by late in the summer. Well, Fast Track, I just said the website I just mentioned that will be playing Tokyo Eye each week, actually more often. So yeah, that'll be on. So that and a bunch of other shows, like a show called J Mellow, which is all about Japanese pop. There's a show called Japanese Kitchen, which is just Japanese cooking. A bunch of different things. Probably not. Koichiben lives in the U.S., so that's one difficulty. Emily, I don't know. Maybe it's possible we could try and include her in some of the programming in the future, but at the moment, I can't think of anything that you could do. Crazy Japanese video shows now. I mean, it's almost all the content of the website is going to be educational or news. We're trying to do something entertainment, but we just don't have the time to do anything like that. There might be some in the future. It's possible, like jidaigeki dramas, which is like a period drama. That's possible, but I don't know. New jokes for Nagano? Absolutely not. I will just be going through the old standards. It's all in English. All the video is in English. It's actually, these shows have been broadcasting for about 2 years now, but you'd have to have a satellite dish to receive them. And so they realized that nobody has a fucking satellite dish. So they've decided to set up this website in order to stream it so more people can see it. But basically, yeah, it's free. But unfortunately, there's a thing called TV Japan and some other companies like that repackage the NHK programming and sell it in like North America, places like that. But basically, it will be the same programming, mostly the same programming as TV Japan, just free and on the internet. So, if you currently pay for TV Japan, it might be a waste. Although TV Japan does have some other content that we don't have on our thing. Like they have dramas and whatnot. Vovin, it's harder for me because I'm not Japanese and I don't always understand exactly what makes them laugh. But no, I mean, I think a sense of humor is pretty basic to humans. Like, I don't think it's that different. Days Japan. That sounds like an NHK show. Yeah, Keyhole TV is another great way to look at stuff. I tried downloading Live Station, and it just fucking crashes every time I try and open it. No idea what the hell's wrong with it. Yeah, I downloaded Live Station so we're gonna try and watch the inauguration through that, but it did not work for me. I'm gonna have to give it another try some other day. No, I don't use any of the instant messenger stuff. I have a Skype, but I only use it to call my parents' landline. That's literally it. Dallas, I've gotten mails from him. I mailed him a couple times, but Dallas, no. And this sounds horrible, and I understand how horrible this sounds, but my feeling is that when someone leaves Japan, they are dead to me. Uh, like, if I tried to keep in contact with all the people I had met over the years in Japan who have moved back to their part of the world, I mean, it would be impossible to keep up and keep in contact with all these people. I mean, because literally, it's hundreds, probably 100 people by now that lived here for a while. I got to know them, and then they moved back home. So, I mean, if they're in Japan, I'm interested in keeping in contact with people. But if they move on in their life, you know, it's, you know, I don't see the point. You know that, and again, it's kind of like a bitter relationship type thing. It's like they left me, they left Japan. They're the ones who walked out the door. So, you know, I'm not going to be sitting around like sending them happy birthday messages to people who I'm probably never going to see again. You know. Well, it's funny. Like Sam, the first day I met Tikio Sam, I said that to him, was like, basically, I don't really want to be your friend because you will leave at some point, and I don't want to have to invest a lot of time and energy in getting to know you since you're just going to leave. Uh, and that really pissed him off. So he like swore that he wasn't leaving, but he'll leave eventually. They always do. I think actually he is staying just to prove me wrong at some point. He's staying just to piss me off. But it's true, because everybody eventually goes, oh, well, you know, the teaching thing's fun, but I kind of want to go get a master's degree or something like that. And they say, yeah, I'm going to go and come back someday. Tokyo Swan apparently is coming back. I'm sorry, not Tokyo Swan. Tokyo Swan is apparently coming back. Yeah, I think Swan is trying to come back via. Hold on. Hey. Yep. It's in the text. It's in the message. Yes, it is. I'm looking at it right now. It's the text in the mail. It's not an attachment. It's it's your JIBTV email. There's two options. Now that's 194 with no spaces, 231 with spaces. The one below it is 170 with no spaces. I know. I just found out about that like last week. Oh no, we're gonna kill them. Is what we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah. It's the best of Japan on the net. It's or it's like it's how about it's your home for Japan on the net. Well, which one? Do you need 199 with spaces? Well, do you, return with spaces under 200. Okay. All right. How about this? No, it's more than like it's all the programming. It's there's lots of different shows. Mm. How about check out the latest in our expanding lineup? Let me send it to you right now. I think I have it. All right. Let me just put down the phone and I'll email it to you in a second. Okay. Stop calling me! All right. Hold on a second. Where am I? Sorry, guys. It's gonna take a second. What is the deal with Jobs? Is he dying? Hey, yeah, so I just sent it over. Okay. You're right, there's too many, the Japan word comes up too much here. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah, that would be fun. Sure. No worries. Alright, sure. Later. Now maybe this crazy Frenchman will stop calling me. But yeah, I mean, what the hell is what's his name? Steve Jobs dying or what? If they have a one-head keyboard, that would be pretty awesome. We all know why that's been developed, though. Later funds for guns. Oh, cool. Thanks, Tixron. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is about. I've seen this clip. That's the magazine I write for, actually. Now it's called Metropolis, but it used to be called Tokyo Classified. I write a column for them each month. That's cool. How many words? Oh, for the thing I was just writing, it had to be 200 characters, including spaces. So for the no, for the magazine, I don't know, a page. Usually it's about 800, 900 words. Helicopter crash in Osaka. Ooh. Nothing on the news right now. Drama about a deaf person and some cooking shows, but no crashed helicopter. Oh well. No, I think we do know Ubiquitous Geek is a Mac fanboy. What? You like the shocker? My God. Texra, that's an interesting question. It's funny because I've just started working in like a normal office, and obviously, you know, one of the first things you do when you go to work in a new office is when you go to get a coffee, you kind of like glance around the tables and you do a little, you know, see who's working here. You know, but most, I think we're Japanese people. one of the only places they can meet a possible marriage partner is in their office. Like, quite seriously, it's one of the most popular things. Like, they actually have to meet people in like an office setting. Like, they don't meet people generally in bars or clubs the way you do in the West. Even like in a coffee shop or something, talking to someone you don't know, if you're Japanese, is like a sure sign of mental illness. People do not, you know, talk to strangers basically ever in Tokyo. Um, yeah, I mean, but it's just different than in the West. So anyway, like a lot of people do meet people in their office. So that's yeah, that's common. It's weird because it's tough with all the sexual harassment rules. Uh, and at the same time, a lot of people, their main social life is the drinking with their coworkers. Hello, Zoid. It's confusing, Queen's friend, forever. It's absolutely true. And I had one salaryman. This guy is like in his late 50s, who was one of my students, and he was pissed off because he's like, it's not fair because sexual harassment is only sexual harassment if you're a creepy old man like me. If it's like a young, cute guy, then nobody calls it sexual harassment. But if I do it, everyone calls it sexual harassment. You know, and it's like, it's kind of true, dude. Sorry, I hate to break that to you, but yeah, pretty much. Like, if it's a young, cute guy in the office who says, like, "Hey, what a nice outfit! You look really sexy today," to like a coworker, she'll probably just giggle and smile. But like, if it's a 60-year-old salaryman, you know, it's not a very welcome comment. Vovin, yes, that's possible, but the problem is, and this is the catch-22, the chicken and the egg kind of thing. You can't establish that you are doing work and you have work set up that you're making money from unless you're already here doing it. Like, that's what I did. I had a teaching visa, and I slowly worked over to basically I'm a freelance, but I show my tax receipts that I make enough money per year, and I show contracts with specific companies, various companies, and then they consider that, and then well, in my case, they approved it. But the problem is, I couldn't do that from the first year, obviously, because I didn't have any contacts or anything like that. So, you know, starting with a year or two teaching, maybe more, is like the kind of necessary time to start building up those things. But it is possible. Thanks, Ron. Previously on an earlier episode of the show, I got in an argument with this girl Stacy about this, and since she's not here, I can guarantee you that I'm right about this. But the majority of international marriages in Japan, the wide majority, like 70% of international marriages in Japan, are Japanese men and foreign women. And international marriages between Japanese women and foreign men is much smaller. Now, the reason people don't understand this is because they look at white or black people with a Japanese woman and say, oh, look, an international marriage. But if you pass by like a Japanese guy and a Filipino woman or a Chinese woman or a Korean woman on the street, you would never notice that as an international couple. So like the street view is very deceiving to people because they only consider white or black people international marriages. But the reality of international marriages in Japan, the wide majority of them are Japanese men married to other Asian women. In the majority of those cases, it's because the guy was living and working for his company in that country for an extended period of time. So like a lot of guys, businessmen, will be working in China or Korea for like 10, 15 years for their company, get married to a local, and then move back. That's the majority of people. Also, like, you know, students, things like that. But it's definitely not like white or black men. We're like 5%. And actually, you can call it bullshit. Um, international. I don't know why anyone else in the world can use Google except me. Sorry, I can't read. I'm just Googling something. I looked it up once before and found the government data on it. It's a little bit older, like 1999 or something like that. Ah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, I'll look for it later. But seriously, if you Google it, like international marriage statistics Japan, the government data shows like that the wide majority are other Asians married to Japanese. Also, this is another really big thing. There's a huge population of Koreans that have been living in Japan since the early part of the last century, and they are still technically not citizens. They are Korean citizens, but they've been living multiple generations in Japan. If any of those people marry a Japanese person, they're also considered an international. But technically, if you met that person, probably they speak native speaker Japanese. Often they've even changed their names to Japanese names. You wouldn't even know necessarily, but they are technically not naturalized citizens. So that affects the population as well of international marriages. Zen Hill is not a permanent resident yet. I don't think so. To be a permanent resident, you have to have lived here 10 years consecutively. And he's only lived here about 5 years, I believe. Yeah, Korean women. Whew! They are tough. Yeah, I see Hispanic tourists sometimes. There's a bunch of salsa bars and stuff like that in Roppongi and Shinjuku. Um, oh, nothing bad about them voting. Good luck. I just had Babimba last night, so I feel like I can speak about Koreans in great detail. Later, Queen. Not really. I don't have anything to say about Koreans. Thankfully, he's not calling back. This is a good sign. Okay. Well, I think, yeah, isn't like the competitive video game championships and stuff they have like that, Koreans do pretty well in that, as far as I recall. I remember seeing a news article about like Korean teenagers rocking at World of Warcraft or something like that. Orange water? I know you're not joking. That's so frightening. That's the other thing, like, about racism in Japan, which really irritates me. Like, the people who tend to talk the most shit about it are, like, racism in Japan, are, like, Caucasian North Americans. You know, because they've never experienced anything like that before. So they come here and they're like, oh my god! You know, nobody, everyone doesn't defer to me all the time. The people who actually have to deal with some type of actual racism are like Southeast Asians and Koreans, Chinese. You know, that's definitely exists. You know, and even like for Africans, like the funny thing is, like, people from Africa will pretend to be from America because Japanese people don't really have a problem with black people from America. And it's a concept that I find a lot of people don't quite catch on to, especially because, like, of how race is viewed where they come from. It's not about skin color. I mean, it's about national, or like the nation of your origin, really. So, like, a black guy from Nigeria will be treated very, very differently from a black guy from America. So, for example, I'm looking for an apartment. The landlord might have a problem with me being a gaijin for a prospective building, and he could say, no, I don't want a gaijin living in my building, a foreigner living in my building. That's completely within his rights. But they'll ask, where is he from? And if you say America, they'll go, oh, okay, no problem. They won't ask, what color is he? Okay, so if you say, like, oh, I'm from Nigeria, you're probably not going to get the apartment. But if you say you're from Chicago, it will be no problem, most likely. It's nothing to do with race. It has to do with the country you're from. Also, if you speak the language, the landlord will be worried if you can communicate with you. That's the main reason. Or any cultural differences, like, for example, like cooking. If there's some type of dish your culture cooks that's incredibly smelly, it might upset the people in neighboring apartments or whatever. You know, so there's things like that. But most often it has to do with the country of origin, not skin color. But I think in the States, especially, the word racism equals black people. But that's not the case in Asia. It's far more complex than that. I mean, the wide majority of people, I mean, personally, myself, in 7.5 years, I have never seen anything that I would consider racism, other than occasionally, yeah, of course, landlords not agreeing to rent the apartment to me. That sucks. That sucks, but hey, it's their building. I think they should be allowed to choose who they let live in their building and who they don't let live in their building. Spanish guy from Chile? I mean, yeah, I don't think there's a great amount of understanding about South America in general here, but one of the largest, minority populations in Japan are Brazilians, because of many Brazilian Japanese, you know. So yeah, there's all kinds, but there's usually like a specific historical reason for these things. Kenji is a fish. He doesn't face a whole lot of, although, I mean, it would be difficult for him to find a job, I suppose, or get an apartment on his own. Signing for his own lease would be difficult. Well, I mean, take a look at Danny Chu. Like, Danny Chu is a Chinese British, or is he Korean? I'm not sure, actually. I think it's Chinese. Ah, shit, I don't know offhand. But I mean, he's as Western as can be, you know, and he runs his own company very successfully, is married to a local. I mean, his whole life has been basically unimpeded by it. So from like the people I know, no, not really. It's not an issue. If anything, the Asian Americans I know who come here just get annoyed because if their Japanese is not great, Danny Chu's Japanese is awesome. But if their Japanese is not great, people will forget that they're not Japanese sometimes and speak to them in native speaker Japanese. So that can be a little bit annoying for some people. Whereas like if I walk into a shop, they assume I can't speak Japanese, which is also annoying, but in a different way. Northhawk actually brings up another good point. Really, all of these problems are exacerbated if you're poor. If you have money, no one gives a shit where you're from. That's the truest of all things to be said about it. You know. The economy here is sucking, just as it is everywhere else. Like Toyota, for example, has lost like 50% of their domestic sales, and that's huge. It's the largest car manufacturer in the world now, and their auto sales have gone down by 50% inside Japan. And so that's a lot of people who are out of work. And actually, this going back to the racism issue, in Nagoya, like where there's a lot of auto manufacturers, there's a lot of foreigners employed in like factory work. The first people to get fired are the foreigners. So there is like a lot of racism in that way. Like cheap labor that's been brought over to fill a demand is usually the first cut off in any kind of recession. So like there's an issue now with a lot of South Americans and some other people who came over, had jobs, but their jobs have disappeared, and now they don't have money to get back home. They don't have money to keep living here, and they're outside of the social mainstreams. They may not speak the language well. They may not, have other friends or family around. So that's a huge issue for minorities. That's true, Mick. You never see beer holders over here. I have never seen like a beer holder here, like a foam beer holder. Wow. Oh yeah, I see American brand cars all the time in Japan, Texron. Yeah, there's a lot. Like, especially, I mean, some have the same cool image they have in the States here, like a Cadillac or things like that. I mean, people specifically want them. My friend Haru, I don't know if you've seen my videos, but he's the guy who owns the American bar up in Itabashiku. He was driving a Chevy truck for a while. He loved that thing. Yeah, actually, now Toyota is the largest auto manufacturer in the world, only because GM has gone down so much that it pushed Toyota into #1 spot. And Toyota's gone down, but not as badly as GM, so it's now I believe it's the largest auto manufacturer. And that's the other thing, like Nissan, the president of Nissan and Sony are both foreigners. Like people ask about, like, are foreigners accepted here? The president of Nissan is French, and the president of Sony is, I think he's born in the US, but he's a British citizen. Like, so obviously there's some amount of faith in foreigners if they're at the top of, yeah, Sir Stringer. Yeah. So it's kind of interesting when people talk about racism and stuff like that. It's a very convoluted argument they usually have. Yeah, the Sony's just been so fucked up recently. I don't think the new management could do anything. It's just a brand in decline and has been for like 15 years. I mean, like the greatest example is the iPod. I mean, that really should have been Sony's thing. I mean, that's what made Sony, the Walkman. And like all the attempts Sony has made to try and fight off the iPod have just been pathetic. They put out the shittiest little like MD players possible, and they've written so many bad decisions. Like the other thing they keep doing, they keep making these DVD recordable video players, and I don't know why the fuck they keep making those. Who wants to record video onto a DVD like that? I mean, I guess somebody does, but it's the most irritating technology to use at this point. It's like using cassette tapes. I mean, why they don't use like flash stuff? I don't understand. Flash memory. Especially with all the remixing culture and stuff that's going on, and people like sending, like, no one sits around and shows their family and friends DVDs of stuff anymore, you know? But yeah, it's just Sony just seems to have its head up its ass. Yeah, I had a Sony for a while. It lasted, like, actually all my videos up until like number 15 or so were shot on a Sony. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how Blu-ray goes. Wow, that's funny, Ace Pilot. That's awesome. Yeah, I heard about Blogwish. I watched him on The View on YouTube. That was hilarious. Why is Blago on The View? That's ridiculous. I did just poke something with a stick. That's my heater remote control. I have this lovely stick, and I can turn my heater on and off from a seated position. Here at TokyoCooney on blogTV, we have nothing but the most advanced in technology. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Later, Dark. Nah, I just got my normal keypad here. Yeah, sure, go for it, Dom. It's a funny story. Fingers are for losers. I'm totally hoping to evolve past the use of fingers. Yeah, I'm kind of tired of hearing about Plago too. Although there is something fun about the country pretending that we're still interested as long as possible, just to see him do that little tap dance as long as possible before he eventually disappears. I like seeing him do the little tap dance. That's entertaining. Fortunately, because I'm in Japan, I get protected from all of this crap. I think it was maybe mentioned once on one news broadcast, and that was it. If that. What shows have I appeared on Japan? I don't know, actually. I've done quite a bit of extra work, like where, like on a variety show, you just appear as like a random extra. But I don't know what shows that was on. It's usually like cash in hand on the day of filming, Sometimes I ask, I write it down somewhere, but I never remember to watch it later on. It's such a small part. A bunch of people who lived in Japan, though, every time I'm on something, I get a little message on YouTube, someone saying they saw me, like, in some random, some random TV show. But with that, but otherwise, I just do mostly the shows for NHK that I've been doing for a couple of years now. Extra work can be good. Extra work can be very good. It depends on the job and if you're going through an agency or not. Like $200 or $300 a day, but then it doesn't come every day. It comes randomly, and so you have to be available to go do it. Like $300 for one day, one scene, even. But I mean, you can't have a normal job and do that. That's kind of the catch-22. That's true, Texron, yeah. I mean, country music is still huge with older people here. I see a lot of Japanese guys wearing like those string bow ties, which is just so wrong. Japanese men should not wear that. And rap music, the whole hip-hop thing has taken off, and there's a lot of Japanese hip-hop, but if you listen to the lyrics, they don't quite get the point. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like, yeah, my people, we gotta get together, we gotta hug and watch the rainbows and the unicorns come out our ass, yeah. It's like, they know the technicalities of how the music's supposed to work, but they don't quite get the concept behind it. It's all positive messages, exactly. It's like hip-hop gangster rap about environmentalism. It's bizarre. But it's like, but there is something about like music that has like being a badass is kind of part of being a performer in some types of music, and rapping about the ozone layer kind of doesn't really add to that badass image. It's not exactly gangsta. I'm not sure what you mean, Rokuji. Depends on which guys with which megaphones. If you mean the Uyoku, that's the conservative right. But I don't know. Or what time of year? Like around Christmas time, the Japanese for Jesus all come out and stand on the street corners in front of stations, saying the end of the world is near, except Christ. But they only do that for like 3 weeks, and just around the time of Christmas. That's true, Seventh Wave. You're right. It would be more fake to pretend they're gangsta. But I think a lot of people who are gangsta in America are also pretending to be gangsta. Piyaki emo cult? I'm not aware of them. Ah, you mean like a Butler Cafe? Moving? Yeah, oh, no, yeah. There's a couple in Ikebukuro. There's a place called the Swallowtail Cafe in Ikebukuro. Yeah, actually, it's tough to get into that place. I've heard you do need a reservation, but I mean that's because it was just the first one to open. I think now there's more of them. The initial boom will disappear. go to the bathroom. I'm gonna let this conversation sort itself out. Did it now. Thank you for the for an info. The Futon and Kenji Show, brought to you by Dr. Pepper. You're right, dude. Kenji's water is looking a bit funky. I feel bad for him. But I do not have the time right now to clean that tank. I'll have to do that over the weekend if I can. Oh, wait. No, I won't. I'll be busy. Oh, he's fine. He's a fish! Come on! They live in, like, lakes and ponds and shit. He loves it. It's like an onsen for a fish in there. I was thinking about that recently. Like, yeah, it's pilot. No one's really talking about politics right now, so let it go. The I was thinking, like, if I said, you know, to the internet, hey, give me money or I will eat Kenji by Friday, I wonder how much money I would get. Or if I promised to eat Kenji if I got enough money, I wonder which way would get more money. Threatening to eat him or promising to eat him? I can't decide which would be, like, which the internet would rather see poor Kenji saved from destruction or give it a death sentence. That's a tough call. It's a really tough call. What do you think, Kenji? Oh, Norsehawk, you're a smart businessman. That might be the best. All right. Kenji sushi. That would be nasty. That would be wholly nasty. Seriously, that water he's in stank. I have no idea what his insides look like. Yeah, I'm allowed to hate Kenji because he's my fish. Hey, Kenji. How are you? Hello. I mean, he's freeloading off my my house. I mean, he's a freeloader.